One mini world, one creation dream.
Welcome guys, how are you? Welcome to the class number 2, the second class for the minicamp for the disaster map. How are you guys? So now let's start with the class objectives. As always guys, before the class I'm going to let you know what we have to do. Remember, this is the week number 1 and it's the second class for it. On this class we are going to learn some different things that I'm going to show you later. Remember, next week we are going to start learning the different disasters, and we are going to start creating first the meteor shower. Then we are going to learn how to create a volcanic eruption, then how to create a plague. After that, next week on Sunday, we are going to learn how to create a fire, then how to create the acid rain, and finally how to create a thunderstorm. Okay? So remember, we are going to have a complete amount of 3 weeks. And at the end, we are going to have also the deadline in which you are going to participate. For this class, we are going to learn how to do the game plan, how to set up the rules, and also how we are going to start building the map. Of course, I'm going to give you the basics. You have all the week to create your map, the phase, to start creating the different disasters, okay? I see. Alright, so now let's start with the game plan, guys. And this is very important, guys. Most of you have awesome ideas, but the problem is that you need to make these ideas happen, to be centered, to, let's say that, to come back to earth with that ideas, okay guys? And that's when the game plan enters. What happened with the game plan? The game plan, it's something that you use when you're creating games to know well what you are going to do and to know and order your mind, so you are going to avoid to have some mistakes that are very usual and are very normal. Most of the times when an amateur player starts creating the games, you're going to find out that the game has a lot of content that doesn't apport or doesn't give too much extra enjoy to the playability. It's just extra things that actual people really don't care about that. When you have a game plan, you can focus in creating the main line of your game, the main gameplay, and then you will have enough time to add other things that actually are going to matter for this game. Also, you are going to know for sure, and you are going to order your mind, so when you create the scripts, when you create the activators, the triggers, you will be able to have a clear idea about what you want to do and what you can do with setups, okay? So, alright, so let's do this now, okay? Let's start first by creating the game plan here, okay guys? So basic things in your game plan that I want you to take note, and please go ahead and take some time to fill this information, is the next ideas. First, we have a map name. We also have the genre that we are going to use. That's going to be easy because we are going to do all the same map. We are going to do a theme, an art style. We are going to have a differential for our map, and we are going to have a target group and a monetization. Very important, guys, take note of this. This is something that I advise you first to do before creating your map, okay? So always when you have an idea, you are going to place it in these words. What is going to be the best way to resolve this? Let's do the example of the map that I create. I remember the map that we played yesterday. That's the map that we are going to use as an example. So first, when you have an idea, you have to give a name to your map. Okay, so let me give you a story about how I create my map. We get the objective to create a survival map for this specific minicamp. And I was thinking about the different ideas that we can use, okay? So first thing that I realized is that a lot of people is going to use survival or disaster survival in the name of the map. So probably if I use the same name, I'm going to get like in the noisy part of the maps because a lot of people is going to do the map. So what I do, I try to search for a different name and that means almost the same, but can be different. So not all the people is going to use that name, okay? So that's when I start to create a name, and I decide to use Cataclysm. Cataclysm, for those that didn't know the word, means something that is like a big scale disaster that destroys our complete civilization, okay? That is why I choose to use Cataclysm. I know that also it sounds like kind of old, kind of antiquated. So that's also cool because the theme that I want to use for this is something that reminds an old era, because I found that also. As also one of the most popular maps in other games are the survival maps, but they are taking place in this time. I decided to switch the time because I don't wanna be like the other maps, okay? I want them to get my map like a different look. That's where I use here the theme, and the theme is basically what your map is going to refer to, okay? So the genre is going to be easy, it's going to be a natural disaster survival, okay? That's the genre. Now for the theme, I decided to use a tribal. Alright, that's actually what I like. And I see that Kenzie is taking advance, and yes, that's cool. Okay, now for the art style, very cool, guys. And this part is very important, guys. This is going to define how your map is going to look. So for the art style, don't take it very easily. What you can do, and what I do the best, and I highly recommend it to do that, and for that let me change the screen one moment to mini words. As an example, I can use these models to create a tribal, okay? Tribal game art. Let's do it very clear. And on here you can see that you can see also the architecture for your map. So that's something that I highly advise you to do when you are creating a map. To get some ideas, actually it's not to copy, because you are not going to do exactly the same. What you are going to do is to know where you can do your way, or what you can use to your way. And then you are going to start implementing some ideas by mixing up, okay? That's something that allows you to get some clear idea about what your maps wants to look like, okay? As an example, I also use as a reference this. So as you see here, that's a clear idea about how you can get the art style, okay? Once you define the art style, that is going to be the line that your map is going to follow, or the style that your map is going to follow, put just the tags here, okay? So as an example, we are going to put tribal Iceland, okay? The differential, guys, this is something very important, and it's something that you have to learn to do, guys. When you are creating something, you need to be different to all the other people, because if you do the same, you are not going to get any you are not going to result, you are not going to be different, so people is not going to notice that you exist. Why? Because you are going to look exactly like all the other maps, or that is something that you have to do for anything in your life, okay, guys? So imagine this, you are a player, right? As you are, and you access to mini-words, and you want to play a new game, all right? If you notice, and let me change to mini-word to show you this, there are going to be a lot of maps that are going to look exactly the same, okay? So as an example, this one is a map that all the players probably can do. All of them use this iron and this gold at the beginning, thinking that their map is going to look greater. Or as an example, this one looks like a generic map. We truly know that it's a TNT war, so there is a lot of maps of TNT war, and it's not going to look different, guys, okay? Even for the name is going to be generic. So with that, you are going to mess up. The players are probably not going to try to play your game, because probably they already see a lot of maps like this. This one looks like the maps that always you have, that is the war between different players in different colors. So you need to think about what is going to do your map that is going to be different to all the maps that you are going to see in mini-words. Okay, guys, so that's going to be the differential in my case, and because I have a know-how is something that you get after playing a lot or knowing a thing too much. is going to be the scripts, okay? So as you notice, I'm very good creating scripts. So something that my map is going to do different to all the other disaster maps is that the scripts are going to be outstanding. That's something that all the players are going to get stunned with, because it's something that not all the players can do. So you have to find something that you can do and your map is going to offer that is going to be different to all your maps, okay? Highly recommended to get this first, guys, because that's going to give you a lot of chances to have a different map and to have a feature map, okay? Now, for this, and welcome Salisme. I see that you're in the chat. Welcome to the class. As an example, Among Us, if I search over, it's very hard to get an Among Us map as a map here. But if you realize, and that's a good example, hello there, thank you for the example. If you realize in some time, Among Us, not only in MiniWorld, in all parts, it gets a lot of like mods, and all the maps looks exactly the same. So in some point, players start to get bored, and for sure I know that most of the times you didn't know who creates that specific Among Us map that you were playing, or like the Pokemon maps on MiniWorld. There's so much of them that you don't even know who is the creator. Okay, so for the target group, guys, target group is something that you learn how to do. Okay, so this is going to be an easy example. Okay, imagine that you are going to create a game, and it's a music game, and you want to make this game be playable by people who likes metal and rock. Okay, if you create a map that actually uses, I don't know, like pop music, probably that people is not going to like your game, okay? So all the things that you designed, all the things that you are going to create had to be focused on the target team. So as an example, if you want to get more awards or get more money from your map, you can create a specific target group. I don't know if you have seen it, but in some maps that are actually pretty normal, but they get a lot of downloads. As an example, Girls Front Aligned. This is a map that is just a fighting map, that actually is like normal fighting map, but all the art style is going to be for girls. It's going to have like pink colors, and it's going to have cute things. And just by that thing, that map is one of the most downloaded, because that creator knows that the girls like to have their own maps in MiniWorld. So you have to think like that. Alright, so as an example, in this map, my target group are going to be you. Okay, at the beginning, it's going to be MiniCamp students, because my main target is to reach you and teach you how to do it, okay? Now, the second target is going to be, and you probably are going to feel identified by this, it's going to be Latin, English, and Asian players, okay? Also, you can define the age, okay? It's not the same to create a game for people from 5 years. It's not going to be the same to create a game for people of, I don't know, teenagers or to young adults, okay? Why? Because probably the child just like to have an easy game, and they didn't understand very good the dynamics. Probably a teenager has a lot of more of knowledge about games, and he likes to play something that challenges him, and probably the adult want to play a strategy game, okay? So this is going to be for teens most of the time. And now you need to think about the monetization, okay guys? So who can tell me in the chat what is the monetization, okay? I want to know that if you know that's in real life. Okay, so how or what is a monetization, and how you can get money from the games? You know that Kenzie has a lot of ideas, not just one. Okay, I like that idea, the non-random narrator text. Okay, so guys, let me know who knows or who have an idea about what is a monetization. Okay, I know that word sometimes is a little bit confusing for some people, so just let me know. Okay, And probably you are going to see this a little bit later than I, because the streaming always have some like delay in between what I'm telling you and what it's going to be. Hello, Klivika. Oh, it is very hard to your name. Klivika, I pronounce it right? Klivika. I'm not sure. Just let me know how you pronounce your name in the chat. But yeah, guys, okay, so what is monetization actually? Monetization is the way that you get the money for your game. So most of you, when you become developers in MiniWorld, are going to earn money. So let me switch straight to an example into the MiniWorld directly. Okay, so let's use the map that we are using, that is Cataclysm, okay? If you access to the map, all right, on here, you are going to have a way to get money. So if you see here, if I hit on this statue, I will get this message, and I can use real money to actually get some items. Also, if I hit here, I have to check an ad to actually get the item. And that's how monetization works, guys. Monetization is the way that you are going to get money from your map. That's correct, as just Quill says. You need to get money from your map by different things. You can sell mini points, you can check ads, or you can use minicons in real time. Welcome, Fiesta Kids. So in real life, that's the basic part, but you need to define some strategies to win your money. Okay, we have a lot of them. As an example, one of the most common one is to have a pay to win. Actually, I didn't like the pay to win too much because, you know, it's the players are going to feel that they need to pay to get better things and to win. So that's not recommendable. And guys, I want to be very emphatic with this. Something that we don't want, and if you do that in the minicamp, probably I'm not going to approve your map, is that the people is receiving, or you are making the players receive basic items by paying, okay? So as an example, in some maps, players are placing like the basic weapon for a price, and you cannot complete the map if you don't put that item. That is not something that is going to be very cool, because players don't want to play your game again, because they are going to tell like, oh, okay, so I have to pay to play. I don't like that. So very important, guys, this needs to be a complement to the basic things. So as an example, your map needs to be completely playable and enjoyable, but when they get some extra things, probably they are going to have some cool extra features, but they are not going to be completely overpowered. That's very important, guys, okay? So, as an example, in my map, all the things that you can get with money, you can get it into the map, and you are not going to be overpowered. The only thing that changes when you get actual real money is that you can increase the difficulty of the map, or you can reduce all the amount of life of all the players. That's the only things that you can change with money. All the other things that you can get it for free in the map, and you can get it without spending a lot of coins, okay? So with that, you can play completely the map, you can enjoy the map. The only difference is that you are going to have extra features. Another cool thing that you can use to monetization, if you have a map, you can create an skin system. So the players are not going to have an actual cool extra power, they are going to just get like extra styles. So as an example, let me change here to MiniWorld once more. And on this map here, let me search for it. I have a lot of maps right now, my maps. Yeah, it's going to be this one, okay? So as an example, you can also do that. This is called pay to style in some words. And what you have to do, or what you do on here, is you create a skin store, okay? So as an example, in this map, the main way to get money from the map is that you are going to have a basic card on the system, but you can have an extra card with a cool style by paying extra money, but this is not going to affect your map. Your card is going to be just the same, or is going to have the same abilities that the other cards, okay? So that's another way to monetize your money. So as you see, there's a lot of ways to get money from your map. So as an example, another one that you can use if you are doing a parkour is that you can place lives, okay? So the player starts with, I don't know, 20 lives, and after he does the 20 lives, he is able to get more lives by paying. And if he don't pay, well, he's going to lose, but he will be able to enjoy the map and complete the map without buying the lives, okay? And so with this, I see that, or you see that there is like different strategies that you can use to actually monetize your money, okay? To get money from your map. So in this case, I'm going to use only two. The first one is going to be to increase difficulty. That is going to be to get extra features for your map. And the other one is to get power-ups. But those power-ups, once again, guys, you can get those power-ups for free, okay? Alright, so we finished the first part. Remember to take photo of this. You can do the exercise with your own maps, guys, and that's very important. With this, you are going to have a clear idea about what you want to do. And now I just see the chat, and welcome, Basti. I see that you're here. Here also I see a Liu. Welcome, Liu. Welcome, Anna. I see. I'm Kenzie, mom. All right. So now let's continue with the next part. And inside this game plan, also you need to plan this, and this is going to be very important, guys. First thing first, you need to define the game map site. Okay, and here is an old or a pro tip. You can take note of this. The pro tip, guys, is going to be always create your map at max 64 blocks. Okay, guys, because why? Because the players are going to play in actual medium render image. Okay, that means that in the map, and let me switch to mini world again, they are going to have this render distance, okay? So close is going to be, that is this one, 32 blocks. Medium is going to be 64 blocks. Far away is going to be 98 blocks. The other one is going to be 126, and like that, okay, guys? So most of the players are going to have the render distance in 64 blocks. That is why it's very important for you guys to actually set up this map at the max 64 blocks, guys. Okay, why? There's a lot of reasons for that. First, the players are going to render all the map in just 1 second. In multiplayer, the players are going to have more speed if they have less render distance. That means that even if the player has the max amount of render distance, the only blocks that are going to load is the very close, so it's going to be much faster in multiplayer. And the most important things, guys, if you are using triggers, if you are using scripts, if there is no player render the area, the script is not going to work, and the trigger is not going to work. So imagine that you are in the block number 1 and you want to create a mob in the block number 92. That is not going to work because it's outside the render distance. Okay, guys, so that's very important. Yeah, that's actually good. 128, you're right. Now, for the players, it's very important to limit for you the amount of players that are going to play your game, because it's not going to be the same to develop a map for 1 player to 10 players. Why? Imagine that you are doing a boss fight, okay? You test in 1 player, and the 1 player it's going to be hard. In 2 players it's not going to be that hard. In 3 players it's going to be very easy, and in 10 players they are going to kill the boss very quickly with not having to do any effort. Or vice versa. As an example, you create a boss that is going to be designed, or you test it with 10 players, and all the players play it in 1 player, and that's going to be very hard because the player is going to be unable to defeat the boss. So it's very good to define the max amount of players. For this survival map, I recommend it, due to the mini-world limitations, to do it between 10 and 15, because with that's going to be enough players, okay? If you use more than that, imagine that you have a map decided for just 20 players, and you make like 40 players entering game, it's going to be very bored because you have to wait a lot. There's going to be a lot of lag, okay? Now the characters is going to be, which are going to be the players that play the game. So as an example, in my map, the characters are going to be tribal people that live in the tribe, in the island. You can use whatever characters you can do. As an example, in the map of the cards, the characters are going to be the cards. Okay, so for this idea, it's going to be tribal or aboriginal people from the island, okay? As an example, if you are creating a medieval game, probably are going to be the villagers, or if you're creating a cyberpunk map, it's going to be like soldiers or whatever you want, okay? Now, very important, guys, that's something that you miss on most of the maps, and is how you are going to win the game, okay? You have to define this for any player map that you create, okay? Very good. I see that you are giving some ideas already in the chat, okay? So please let me know what will be for you the best way or the max amount of players that you think is going to be great for this kind of map, okay? Of players. So I'm going to submit here actually a pool, okay? And you are going to let me know what will be the best amount of players that you can use, or do you think it's going to be better for your map, okay? I see. All right, so for the winning conditions, guys, so you have to define how your map is going to be win. Because I see a lot of maps that you have a lot of content, but actually players cannot win. So it's going to be very, very bored for them because they cannot know that they win. So how you can do the win conditions, okay? In my case, and in the case that we are going to learn how to do, it's going to be last one standing wins, okay? And how it's that? And that means that the last player that is alive is the one that is going to win. And of course, as we are going to learn how to do an actual survival map, a disaster survival map, you can choose most of the times two ways. The first one is to survive an amount of time. As an example, all players that survive like 3 rounds or 20 minutes are going to be the winners. Or you can do the basic one that is going to be the last one standing. Where I pick like the last one standing wins because it's more competitive. Players like more to compete to other players and say, oh, I win, yay, than just survive like given amount of time, okay? Also, this will allow the map to have a little bit more of time, okay? So that means that probably the players, as an example, are going to fight together and they can lose in the first round or in the round number 15, okay? So they are going to be happier to survive more rounds. Player kill, okay? Actually, you probably have it. You haven't tested yet, Davon. And probably with this, you are going to get your first feature map, okay? So don't worry for that. Now, let me end the pool and let me check the results. Okay. And yeah, as of course I see, most of you are going to do 10 players. And you are right, guys. 10 players is going to be the best amount of players that can play this game because it's going to be much funnier, okay? If you have too much players, it's going to be very, very boring because they are going to be a lot of time on there. So yes, you are right, the best amount of players that you can use is going to be 10 players, okay? Now, this story, that's something important, and not also because you can tell the players a story and they are going to like it. It's also because you can order your mind, okay? So as an example, if you have a story, you can use some items related to the story. So I'm going to tell you this story about my map. The map that we played yesterday, the survival, happens in a small island in the beginning of the creation. When God has been created a lot of civilizations. The old God of this generation creates different kind of man. The first mans that they create were based on the corn, but he realized that actually those mans doesn't believe in anything and they don't have too much ways to live. So he wants to get a spicy things for it. They want the mans to become a little bit more spacey. So actually he creates then the mans based on the Chile. Then he realized that the people was very bad and he destroyed the civilization. Now he creates the people based on the fishes. And now he realized that actually the fishing people is actually living the life for living, okay? So now this old god is going to destroy all the civilization, and the people, the third people from the world, wants to actually have his lives back, okay? So that's the background story about my map, and I start building everything around that. So as an example, as the people become from the fishes in that story, what I did is all the power-ups are going to be fishes. So as an example, if you build the lantern fish is going to actually allow the players to fly. If you get the gooder fish is going to fly, the lantern fish is going to give more lives, and there's going to be a lot of things related with fishes for your map. So that's only in my case. In your case, as an example, the story could be that, as an example, there was an astronaut that was in the stasis station when a meteor rain is coming, and you are going to have a lot of disasters and you have to survive, okay? So that's the idea. You have to create a story for that, and I advise you to place it in your notes. Of course, I'm not going to place it here because it's going to take a lot of time, but just to let you know, okay? And also your map is going to have some basic elements, okay? Always create or define what are going to be the elements that are going to interact with your map, okay? So what are going to be the basic elements that you can use for this? In my case, the first one and the obvious one, as this is a disaster map survival, are going to be the disasters, guys, okay? Then we have the basic one that is the disasters and the scenario. What we can add extra to the players to have more flexible gameplay? Well, I add some power-ups. That means that the players not only have to survive, also you have to get some power-ups to survive more time, okay? All right, welcome City, welcome to the channel. And yeah, all right. So also apart from that, we also are going to have some different things like player stats, okay? And that's going to be stats, not starts. And what you can have for player stats, okay? You have to define what are going to be the different status that the player is going to have. In this map, as an example, is going to be the life and the speed, okay? And the jumping power. With that, you can survive more time. In other maps, like fighting maps, I place attack amount, or damage amount, or defense amount, or speed amount. In other maps, I place amount of certain element, like how much fire you have, or how much earth, or how much ice you have in your powers. And you have to define always the elements or the stats that you are going to play with in the map. The stats are going to be those things that the player can increase to survive more or to get more powerful into the game. Then you can define a difficult level that is going to be for this map. It's going to be the amount of disasters and also the amount of life that the player is going to start. And finally, the scenario, the most basic one. You need to create a map that is going to be completely playable, okay guys? So let's start first with the disasters, guys. And you are going to notice something here, and is that I made a table, okay? Check the table, it has an ID. It has a name and a description, okay? So why I place an ID on here? Because when we create the game, we are going to use this number to tell the game what is going to happen in real time in the game, okay? So, as an example here, when you have the number 0, it means that there's not going to be any disaster in game. When the game has the number 1, is going to start the meteor shower, and like that you are going to have different stats. This in setup or in programming or in coding is being called as an status, okay? So we are going to move the status according with the disasters. So you have to define your disasters and you have to define what your disasters are going to do, okay guys? Meteors, let me paste to full screen also, just for you to be able to see better. All right. So the first one is going to be meteor falling from sky. They do damage to the players, okay? Or high damage to players. Now the fire that I did in game, what actually is going to do is very easy. Spread a lot of fire around the map. The acid rain is going to damage the players that are not under a roof, okay? The volcano, it's going to spread lava around the map. The earthquake is going to push players away or drop blocks from the floor, okay? So as you see, what I'm doing right now is I'm just giving a description to the disaster. So later, when I start coding, I will know actually what I'm going to do in the game, okay? Alright. So now for the pledge. One player becomes sick and spreads the plague. Okay, that's going to be very related with the black plague, but I already have it like normal plague in the game. Now the tornado tracks players inside and then throw players away, okay? So as you see, with this I know what I'm going to do, okay? The thunderstorm damage players that are outdoors, and this has something special, and is if players are together or very close, more chances, okay? And finally the blizzard, what is going to do the blizzard, it's going to push players in one direction if they are not behind a wall, okay? So as you see, each one has a description. So now let's do this, but as we don't have no gravity, we can define here what is going to do. So now that we have the idea, guys, what we are going to do with it, okay? So we are going to reduce gravity to 0. And then what we are going to do, guys, we are going to make players start flying, okay? Alright, guys. So that's going to be our disaster. So as you see, we only not get the idea, we also get what the actual non-gravity is going to do. So now we have a good idea that we are going to use in the last class, okay? And it's going to do something new that we are going to add to our map. Now, very important, guys, we need to define the power-ups. Those are going to be the power-ups that I'm using in my game. So, first we are using the coins. Second, I'm using a power-up that is going to be to give the players 1 life. Okay, in my case it's going to be a fish. As always, I mentioned that in my map we use fishes, but you can think about anything in your map. we are using another item that heals the player, we are going to use another player that recovers, another item that recovers the life of the player. What will be the difference? Heal means that they are going to get instant life. As an example, they are going to get +5 of life or +10, and recover will slowly recover the life. This is very cool because it's going to heal you instantly, but this will keep you healing. So as an example, if you are in a fire, this is going to be more useful. If you are in a meteor rain, this is going to be more useful. Something also to increase the player's food. We don't want the players starving. And now we also can have an item to increase the speed. As an example, if the players needs to run on. Also another that increase the jump, another to fly, and finally something that clean the debuffs. The debuff is something bad that you can get. As an example, the bleach or the virus is going to be one of them, okay? So if you want, take a screenshot of it because we are going to use it. Then we have the player stats, guys, and with this I'm going to be very quickly. We have two kind of stats, the player and the global stats. So the main stats that the player is going to use in this game is the jump, the speed, the hunger, and the HP. We have an initial value and a max value, and also a min value. Why it's important to define this? We don't want the players to become overpowered, so the max amount of life that they can get is 200. They cannot increase the life over that, okay? Also, you cannot reduce life if you have less than 50, because that is going to be very unfair for the players. But the most important one for the gameplay, we have some specific that are going to be mandatory for this kind of game. And the first one is the disaster time. This is the time that is going to take each disaster to disappear. In my game, it's going to be 30 seconds. The second one is the disasters per round. We have one disaster per round at the beginning, and you can increase the disasters per round, but the max amount is going to be 5 disasters, okay? To avoid the players, this is because I only have 9 disasters, so if we place more than 5 disasters at a time, it's probably going to get some errors on there. Now, the item time. I set up the item time or the duration of each item, for as an example, the speed bonus to a half of a disaster. Why? Because the players will survive to the half of the disaster with one item. And now the max amount of players, in my case, is going to be 15 players, okay guys? And finally, we have a way to change the difficulty in game. So first one, we have the disasters of time. In my case, once more, the max amount is going to be 5, the minimum 1, and each time that you increase the difficulty is going to increase in 1. And the second way to increase the difficulty for disaster map is going to be all the players' HP or life. The normal amount is 200, the minimum amount, or in this case, is going to be 50, and each time that you use the life machine is going to reduce all player life in 25. Okay? That's are going to be simple things, but are things that will allow you to define how your game is going to work better. Welcome back, Lenovo. Alright. Okay, for those that want to know the name of the song, this one is going to be Chopstick by Jorge Hernandez. Alright, so now we already ended with that part. Now we are going to start with the role setup, guys. So this is going to be the map. Alright, I think you are ready. Not a problem. For all of you, and welcome Penny Never Die. Okay. So let's start by setting up the rules, guys, okay? Second point of the class. So let me just stand here and we are going to start to set up the rules. Just let me verify, yes, you are seeing my screen in MiniWord, that's very important. So first things first, guys, on here in MiniWord, and let me change to full screen so you will be able to see better the rules. But yeah, now I'm in full screen. So guys, here in the top, you are going to have the developer tools. The developer tools, on here, as always, you have this menu. The first one is the developer store, the second, the plugin store, the third, the share button. This is the miniature menu. And this one is going to be the developer setup. On here you can set up everything about your map, okay? So first, on here you are going to have 3 different tabs. Okay, MiniWord, what you're doing? Okay. So the first one is when you set up the rules of the game. The second one is where you actually can set up your triggers, and the third one is for creating codes inside your map, okay? So for the first one, you are going to hit on basic, and then you are going to hit in word settings, okay? You can select the time that you want. An advice that I do is that you can play it with the time and keep it on the normal screen. Don't allow the time to change, because you can change the skybox with that. That means that you can have a different look for your map. As an example, if I want my map to look like more darker or more like spatial, I can use this one. As you see, this one looks like if you were in the space. So it also gives a cosmic look to your map. Check it out. Okay, and also you are going to notice that the sun or the moon position is going to change according about how do you move this. Also the light you see now is much darker than before. That's going to change around the area or around the time that you change. So you can play with it, you can give a look to your map. As an example, mine was in 18, I think, yes. Mine was in 18 to look like something apocalyptical, because the sun is very high, it's going to have red colors and a lot of clouds. But you can choose whatever you want, okay guys? Now, moving back, you also have the weather. For this map, you are going to keep it in sunny, guys. Very important, don't play it with the weather for this map, you are going to actually place it in rainy. For generate monster, this switcher needs to be completely off, okay? Gravity, I always keep it in 0.7. Most of the times you are going to have it in 1, but I keep it like this because it's going to make the player feel a little bit more agile, okay? And very important guys, for this map, you are going to keep the falling damage switch completely on, okay guys? We want the players to receive damage when they fall, because probably the tornado are going to throw in them up or the earthquake. So you are going to switch it as an on, okay? Then the machinery, you are going to turn off at the switcher for the card can be destroyed, because we are not going to use any card on here. Then you are going to just jump to start settings, and you are going to activate this, that is the start introduction, and you are going to add a new introduction. In the introduction, you are going to take a screenshot of your map, and on here you are going to do the description of your map, okay? Remember, on this, less is more, so that means that avoid to try to use a lot of text, just place a simple text here. So as an example, on here you can see that says survive to the ancient good anger, and the second one that says last one standing wins. If you want to copy that, is perfectly fine, because it's going to explain the rules in just few words, and it's going to be easier for the players to know what they have to do, okay? Now, very important here, on the start options you are going to choose host opens. Don't use the other two for this map, okay? Because we don't want we want the player to test in first player, and we'll also set up it like that, so player can play in one player and also can play in multiplayer, okay? Now, join gaming process. This is going to be on, guys. I know that for this map, probably you want to place no, but I made a system so when the players access to the joining process game, actually they will be able to win like or less points, and the player with more points is going to be the winner. And also, very important, guys, if the player dies and the player exits from the game and try to enter again, the system is going to detect that and is going to place that player as an observer again, so you don't have to worry for that. So this one needs to be on. In counting, we are not going to use that, so place it in 1, place whatever music you want it, and the minimum amount of players needs to be 1, okay? Very important, guys. Now, for the game target, this is important, don't place a time limit, okay? Now, all the different scoring settings need to be in 0. Don't place any score on here. Be sure that everything is in 0. And from the goal, the most important thing is that you are going to place the next team. When the players get 99 points, the game is going to end. So you need to activate gold, and gold, you need to change it or switch it to 1991 or 1999, okay? Very important, guys. Turn base is going to be completely off. Polluted area is going to be also off. And on here, you are going to play reset the map, okay? Pretty important. Don't activate save the player data, okay? That's correct. No time limit. Because it's going to be 4 rounds, that means that the last one standing is going to win. Probably there are going to be some players that are going to fight together for half hour or just for 5 minutes. That's why we are not going to place time, okay? Now, on team settings, this is going to be the most important and what is going to be the main core of the system, because it's how the system is going to detect if the players are going to work. So very important on this, you need to be very careful, okay? So we are going to activate 2 teams. Team number 1 and team number 2. Don't activate other teams, because this is not going to be used for competitive, it's going to use for the system to detect when the players lose. So in the first one, the name that you are going to place is Survivors, and what you are going to have here is, sorry for that, I want to translate this to all language. Okay, so on Survivors, you are going to place the players when they enter to the game. Okay, so this name is going to be clear. On here, you have to limit the amount of players. That is going to be the amount of players that you want to play with. Most of you want to make it for 10 players. It's completely okay. I agree with that, okay? The permission settings, initial attribute, and all the other things are going to be completely off, okay? Now, for the team, you are going to play it dead players, or you can play it observers, okay? Whatever name is better for you, just place it on there. That means that in the team number 2, guys, we are going to place all the players that lose. When the player dies, we are going to change the team, so the players are not going to be able to participate and they are going to be completely dead. No, just blue and green. Remember, for this game we can use only red and blue. We are not going to place more teams because the teams are going to work just for detect when the game ends, okay? Now for permission settings, all the other things needs to be completely off, okay? But in permission settings we are going to hit custom setup, okay, for the team number 2, only for the team number 2, okay guys? And we are going to keep out all the different permissions, okay? So what is going to happen is that those players that are observers are not going to be able to use any skill, okay? Basically, they are not going to be able to die, they are going to just observe the game, okay? And that's very important. Also, on this one, you can set up whatever number you want, okay? Because on here, we are going to have just the observer team. But very, 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 very important, guys. When you finish set up those 2 teams, just the way that I did, don't be creative on this part because this is going to be the core of the system. On here, on the end, also do this. You are going to have it like this in order assessment, just hit again, and you are going to select no assigned team. That means that the players are not going to have a team when they are enter the game, because we are going to do it with triggers, okay? That's very important because if we do it in another way, the system is going to assign the players to this team or this other. No, we are going to be sure that no assigned team it's going to be hidden. So very important, hit on here, not assigned team, okay? Now let's go to player settings. On player settings, you can use all the different things are going to be okay. The only thing that I advise you, and I highly advise you to do, is to remove the mount operation and the character skills, okay? So those 2 at the end needs to be completely off. All the others are going to be okay, but these 2 are going to be completely off, okay? Now move to respawn settings. Revival time is going to be 0. Very important, guys. This is also a core system because the system is going to detect the players when they reborn to remove it from the team. So very important, revival interval is going to be 0, okay? It needs to be in respawn automatically. Removable protection is going to be 1. And very important, respawn point, random point in the team, okay? And now in here, you need to choose keep items, okay? Why? Because we are going to have the system that allows the players to reborn. So if the player dies, he can use an extra life to revive, and you can also give lives in the game. So very important, keep items needs to be on, so the player is not going to lose the items, okay? Number of lives, it's going to be completely deactivated. You don't need that, okay? Alright, it's too loud. Oh, okay. Let me reduce the music a little bit. Now sounds better? Alright, I hope that now sounds better. Now, for the placement permission, guys, on here, once more, you just deactivate mount operation and character skill. Now for display settings, guys. We are going to place different teams visible. The name display is also going to be visible to all. Show damage. You can use whatever you want here, okay? But I highly advise you to keep it no damage. For here, very important, turn off, and that's very important, turn off the health part, because the virus is going to have a health bar, and we don't want that, okay? So just remove health bar from the crosshair, keep it like it is, score and time. You can do it or you can hide it. In my case, I prefer to hide it, guys, because we don't want the players to know in which team they are, okay? And then you are going to have actually those two are not very important, just score time, okay? Inversion settings, just keep it like default camera. And now let's switch to initial attribute, okay guys? So in initial attribute, remember that we set up the life in some point. Okay guys, so remember we on the stats, let me show you that. In the stats on the presentation, we define the life here, right? So we said that the max amount of life is going to be 200. That's what we are going to do here, okay? So in the map, when we are in the rules, we are going to set up the max amount of life according to the stats that we define. Also the hunger point, we define it as 115. And very important guys, on here, don't change anything on here because we are not going to use it in game, but for the speed, I always give 10% extra speed to the players so they are going to feel more fast, okay? So you have now the rules until this point. Now initial items, guys. Remember to put here the items that you are going to have for your game. In my case, I have the money here. I give 10 coins at the beginning. And also I have the item to open the store and open the developer store, okay guys? And all the other things are going to be completely deactivated. Now you have the basic rules for your game, okay guys? With this, we can start building our map, okay? So, now let me show something extra. Here I'm going to start creating the map, okay? So, now let me switch to the presentation. We already ended with this, they're setting up the rules. Now we are going to start building the map, guys, okay? Until this point, I want to ask you if you have any question on the chat or any questions that I can help you to answer right now, okay? All right. Okay, better. I see that you can hear better now, and I just want to know, guys, if you have any questions until this point. I just want to be sure that actually you are understanding what I'm telling. Yeah, and I'm also going to let you another pull here. I just want to be sure that you understand that part. All right, I also add this right here. Cool. Kenzie, I see that you already have a clear idea about what you are going to put in the start, so that's very cool. Oh yeah. All right, don't worry, Basti. We are going to learn that later about how to create the shop and the items, okay? For now, I send you here an answer here, a question here. Now let me start by creating the map, okay? So, for creating the map, guys, as always, you are going to hit on here. So you are going to access to your menu. If you are here, you are going to access to start. In start, you are going to scroll down and you are going to have this specific button. In the cell phone, it's going to be a little bit different, but you have to hit on Creata. Once you hit on Creata, you are going to have that menu. You have to hit on Dev mode, and on here you are going to have the Advanced Developer mode. First, you are going to give a name to your map. In my case, it's going to be a disaster map English class. Now, the size of the map. If you hear something, that was actually my belly making sound. That means that I'm a little bit hungry, but don't worry for that. Size, as always, guys, you are not going to give any size. All right, guys, this is very important. Why we are not going to give a size? Because the actual island that creates less like lag in the game is the one that doesn't have like too much blocks, okay? In terrain, you are going to select flat and you are going to select floating island. This will completely delete all the blocks and are going to create only few blocks in the middle, so it's going to be much better for the performance of your map, okay guys? So I highly advise you to create like this, okay? Flat and floating island. Be sure that all here it's going to be completely unmarked and just hit start your map, okay guys? So very important here, guys. You are going to see that you have here the starting or the starting terrain here. First thing that you are going to do is you are going to put the right tools to work with the map. How you are going to do that? If you see here on the right side, in the left side, you are going to see this icon. This icon is the shortcut for developers, okay? And on here, we have like different shortcuts for set up our map, but also we have here some others for our inventory. There is one that says Instant Build. So if you hit on that one, you are going to have this. And it's all the tools for build your maps, okay? So with this tool, you can delete very quickly this. So just switch to select modes. If you don't know how to use it in this channel, there is a tutorial about how to use this tool. Or there are a lot of them, okay? Once you delete everything, you are going to see that your map is completely empty, okay? All right, so first thing first, you are going to be sure that you are starting in the coordinate 0. So if you hit the minimap or the small minimap on here, you are going to see this menu and it gives you the altitude and the coordinates, okay? For this map, it's not very important to take the coordinates, just the health, okay? So you are going to reduce your health until you get on 0. Now I'm on -3, so I have to just go up a little bit. Now I'm on 0, all right, guys? So I'm going to mark this as a 0. Okay, that means that this is the block number 0, guys, okay? So what we are going to do with this is going to be the point 0. That means that under this, you actually cannot place any block. The system is not going to allow you to do it. You can place it on the sides, but you can place it here, okay? Now that you have the point number 0, you are going to start creating your map, okay? So you are going to hit the floor. On this tool, change with tab to the selection mode. And then you will be able to start creating your island, okay? So if you want to get the information on the top left corner, you are going to see this information, okay? This information allows you to know how much size has your island, okay? So remember that I advise you to create it on 64, okay? So you are going to be sure that the length and the width on that specific part is going to be 64. Also, you are going to notice that when you get the full size, it's going to be in red, okay? So once you get or rise the red color, just start moving by the other side until you also get the 64 by 64 area. Okay? And now, very important, we are going to choose the health. So the health is going to be, we are going to keep like this. 2 blocks on the overlay on the top to let the player win and also to allow the player to destroy the floor. And apart from that, we are going to give lava to the floor, so players are going to die instantly, okay? So 1 block here, 2 blocks here, 3 blocks here. That means that we have the floor block and also 2 blocks of lava. Now we are going to give 1 for the earth and 1 for the grass. Okay, so this is going to be our playable area. What does it mean, guys? It means that on here, in this area, you can build the playable area. Of course, you can build outside that, but be sure that the decorations or the part that is outside this area is only decorations. The area where the players are going to play is going to be all this. Now it starts. For now, I'm going to place the most easy one, that is going to be rock blocks. Imagine that in some of your triggers, your map is going to start here, okay? Imagine that your tornado is going to start here. If the players are playing in medium render, it's going to work, right? That is how most of the players are going to have it. But as an example, if your tornado are going to be executed and your players are playing in near range, let's check this. As you see, we cannot see that block anymore. That means that that render is not going to work. So that's why I highly advise you to have that area in medium always, because most of the players play in medium, and no except that area. Okay, guys? So and then what you do is just, now you have like this area for the circle. You complete all the corners, okay, guys? So that's going to be the base to make the circle or to look like a circular island, like the one that you check in my map first. Okay, then you can start giving like some extra corners here just by deleting this, the 1 block that is in all the corners. And it's going to look more circular also, okay? But most important, guys, once you have that, we are going to start giving the terrain like a different health, okay? But for this is very important, guys. For the health, we are only going to use 3 healths as base, okay? So to give the health sides, we are going to use this one, this tool. Okay, and we are going to start by choosing here on filter which kind of terrain we are going to use. Of course, we are going to use the grass block in this example. Okay, I delete everything. But you can choose whatever you wanted, of course, depending on your map, okay? So, first terrain is going to be like this. Okay, so we increase the size a little bit more here. Okay, no, this doesn't work fine because we need to be sure that we are placing into the floor, okay? Once you have the different hills for your map, remember that our map is going to have a volcano, okay, guys? So, in our map, you can choose whatever of the corners you want to choose. As an example, I'm going to choose this side, and you can create the volcano on there, okay, guys? So, as an example, I'm going to start creating the volcano here. Check this. I can use this one. I can set up a radius of 10 and a height of 10, okay? Don't use more than 10, guys. I advise you to do that because, well, the system is going to depend on that. And we can place the volcano here. Okay. Okay, because we are going to put some lava inside of it. We are actually going to put some lava. All the floor is going to be lava. Of course, you are going to cover a little bit better, but we are going to do it very quickly, okay? So all this area in your map is going to be lava because the players are going to fall on there, okay? And that depends on your map. If you're doing a special station, you can keep it like empty, so the players are going to fall into the space. But for this map, you are going to put lava on here, okay? So you can actually clean that part. So to clean that part, you can put some blocks on it, but be sure that that is not going to happen, okay? And your volcano should look like this. As you see here, the internal area has the lava, and also all the floor of the map is lava too, okay? Outside the map, I pull some walls on it, so the lava is not going to split, but also, as you see here, over the hills, I start pulling some special things. So if you see here, if you break more than 2 blocks, you are going to fall into the lava. And also the volcano has the sides. It's very important this, guys. The top of the volcano needs to be very strange, very close, because we are going to spawn some projectiles from here, and that's what is going to create the effect that the volcano is doing some eruption. Okay, guys? Very important, guys. After that, you can place some buildings. It's very important, guys, that the buildings are going to have enough space for the players to play. So check this. Every part of the map has at least 2 blocks to enter and access, and give some roof to the players, okay? Because in the map that we are going to do, as we are going to do like some acid rain and things like that, the players need to cover it from some part. Be sure that you complete some buildings on the map. As you see, it's the same area, 64 blocks for 64 blocks, and I just cut the blocks around. I just do a circle around, okay? And that's very important for building your map, guys. Remember, the next class is going to be the next week. And in the next week, we are going to start building our disasters, okay, guys?
One mini world, one creation dream.